Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Lance from NerfThis.TV. Today we're having a look at a whole bunch of accessories that I've accumulated for use with the DJI Osmo Pocket. Some of them I'd recommend if you want to accessorize your Osmo Pocket. But there are some that I'm not so sure that I would recommend, but we'll have a look at them anyway. Okay, this first item is the PGYTech hard shell case that I use to carry around all my goodies for my Osmo Pocket. As you can see, it's quite a nice firm case. It's actually a lot bigger than it looks, and inside you've got these partitions which are probably not the greatest. They don't stick very well on the edges. Their Velcro doesn't seem to be very good, but they're there and you can use them, as you can see, to partition everything. You've got some nice little net holders up top here for all your general goods, and in the back here you have some SD cards I suppose you could pop in there, and various other cables, etc., and a nice little netted off area at the back here that you can put some fairly or larger items into it. Overall you should be able to fit everything that you need into this. So this is the Gimbal Holder from PolarPro. It's nice, small, minimalistic, words, I know words, minimalistic, and it covers both the screen and holds your gimbal in place, so that you don't need to keep resorting to the case that came with the Osmo Pocket, obviously reducing in size, and you can just throw it in your pocket and go. This is one of the few that I found that actually covers the screen as well, to give it a little bit of protection, so there's no scratches and things that are going to happen in your pocket if you do use it and throw it into your pocket. Okay, so this item is basically a bracket that will hold your Osmo Pocket and allow you to put it onto a tripod, and it's got a couple of narrow cold shoe brackets that you can put basically a light on or something like that. So if you take your Osmo, you see it's got a little bit of padding there. You can just stretch this out, and it is very stiff. Get out of there. And slide your Osmo in there, basically at any position. What you could do as well is slide it a bit higher so that you still can get some sort of use out of this port here, and then you can put it onto a tripod like this, or any tripod. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, this one is obviously not the correct one to be putting on there, but if we take something like this little Manfrotto and we put it on there, so then you can put on a little tripod like this. It'll allow you to carry it around and still have a couple of accessories on there, and its footprint is pretty small, as you can see. There's not a lot to it. This is the PGYTech, basically just a mini tripod. It's got one thread on the top, standard tripod thread, so you can fit it to pretty much anything, and it stands fairly low. What I use this for is, obviously it's nice and light, it's compact, a little bit plasticky, but I suppose that adds to the lightness, and it's pretty quick and easy just to throw into your kit and have something that at least you can stand your Osmo Pocket upright on. I also sometimes use this. It's a little Manfrotto Pixie. Only problem with this is it's a little bit bigger, so obviously it doesn't fit into the pack, but it's nice, sturdy metal, so you can just throw it into your backpack and be done with it. The plus with this is it's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier than the PGYTech, and of course you can adjust the head if you need to. Obviously, for any setup that you want decent sound, you're going to have to invest in this not cheap DJI Adapter. When it's available, it is permanently out of stock most places, but having it protrude at the bottom of the Osmo Pocket like this is a little bit flimsy, and I'm always scared that it's going to break off or damage the port or something like that if you bump it too much. So what I've done is I went and purchased this double pack of little elbows from Amazon, and I can now, depending on how I've got it mounted or if I'm just holding it, I'll have it going off at an angle, or this is the one I use the most. Plug it in there, and that way I have it going off at a slight better angle, and depending on how you're mounting, maybe you've got your phone next to it or something like that, this now is a little bit more discreet and less prone to getting bashed around. As you can see, it still recognizes the adapter even using these little elbows. The only standard accessories that I really use is obviously the wireless module for the Osmo Pocket so that you can connect a mobile device, and the little joystick module. I don't use this nearly as much as I used to because my setup has evolved in such a way that there's really no space for it. But when you're first starting out and you just want to throw it into your pocket with a little joystick and possibly the wireless module so that you can sync up with your phone and get a bigger screen to actually view your footage on, then these two are obviously a must-have. The wireless module I find is a bit one of those things that I feel shouldn't really be necessary. You know, if you look at the Osmo Action, they've got all of the wireless facilities built into it, and it's a pretty small unit. I would have thought that building this into the Osmo Pocket would have been a better solution to the problem of connecting it to a mobile device. Also, you know, they can't charge and make extra money out of this module, so I suppose that's a thing. Along with the wireless module, I found that obviously you can stand it on the table if you have this with it, which is great, like that. But there's still nowhere to mount it onto a tripod if that's what you want to do. And this is where this little PolarPro adapter comes in. You slide the wireless module into this, and it gives you a nice little thread on the bottom so that you can put it onto pretty much any tripod mount. And you still have access to the USB-C port if you want to charge. This, however, doesn't work with the audio adapter. So you can't plug the audio adapter into the wireless module and have both wireless to your cell phone and the audio adapter in there, which, as you can imagine, is a bit of a problem if you want to use both with just the one port. But for a fairly reasonable price, this is well worth it. It adds the mount and a little bit of protection for your wireless module. For audio, I normally drag along one of these little Rode mics. It's quite easy and convenient because it can fit onto any one of those cold shoes or directly onto a thread, and you can plug it directly into your adapter and you can have some fairly decent sound. If I need something that's a little bit more powered, then this little Sennheiser takes a battery and does the same thing. Plugs straight into your adapter, and you can have a little bit of a small shotgun mic for a bit more directional audio. If I'm not using one of these two, normally I would use my Rode Wireless Go, but as I'm busy using it to record this, I can't show you it. The Rode Wireless Go is obviously a little bit more expensive than these options. These are fairly cheap as far as microphones go, and they deliver a fairly decent sound. No good setup would be complete without some decent ND filters. And these are from Skyreat. I've been using them for quite a while now, and they get some pretty decent results. They're very easy to use. You just pop them onto the front there, and because they're so light, they really don't mess with the gimbal operation at all. I mean, this is quite a light gimbal anyway. This particular set comes with all your standard ND filters. So you can just clip off like this. It also has the standard filters, and then it has these filters with the polarizer on it, which you can turn to obviously get your angles just right for your skies, etc. So that's quite nice, and they just clip off magnetically, and away you go. Only problem with this is obviously you've got a whole set of them, so you need to pick just the right one for the right light. And also with them being magnetic, you really need to watch out that you don't by mistake bump them off and have them, you know, fall. I mean, these are not cheap, no ND filters are, and you really don't want to be losing these things. For mobile lighting, what I generally do is I have 2 of these Lume Cubes. This is the version 1, I believe they brought out a version 2, and it's got the housing that you can just clip on the various filters onto. These particular filters make the lighter softer depending on the different density, as it is a fairly intense LED light, and these are directional filters, so you can make sure that your light is pointing in a specific direction and not bleeding off to the sides. The nice thing about these is that they're rugged. This is a metal casing, even the bracket that holds the filters is metal. It's waterproof, well, water resistant, so you can throw this in the underwater and use it for lighting there. As long as you've got this nicely secured, this is where your charging port is. And also it has various functions. It comes with an app, so you can connect to it via Bluetooth, and then you can adjust the brightness, etc. It even has a flash facility if you use your phone to take photos, etc. So they're quite nice. The only thing I've got against them is the battery life is not great, so you know, you're looking at, I think it was between 20 and 40 minutes of solid 60 to 100% lighting. But you find that these are quite bright, and you probably won't need them at that high in intensity. One of the major devices that I use is this little bracket, again from PGYTech, where you can actually hold your phone. It fits in like this, and you can put your Osmo next to it at whatever the right level is. You just press it in and it grips it fairly decently. Obviously this will be the other way around and going into your phone, and then you can mount it onto a tripod, and you can still have something sound related at the top. This is also where I use the elbow for the audio to go off and at this direction. That way I don't have to worry about it getting bumped, sticking out the bottom here or sticking out the front. And then you just put the little tripod on there, and you've got yourself a nice little setup. Quite easy to just pick up when you're on the go and walk around vlogging, recording, whatever the case you're doing, holiday, vacationing, etc. The one thing I do like about this solution is obviously I have now a nice big screen that I can see exactly what I'm doing and adjust the settings without having to fiddle through the menus, which, although pretty good, it is still a very small screen, and I'd rather do it on something bigger. So my end setup would be something like this, where I have one of the little elbows there, the audio adapter connected into it, and then my microphone connected into that. Of course, we do need to just make sure that it recognizes the audio adapter. And then obviously the microphone, depending on what you're using it for, you turn it around if you're doing vlogging, or if you're just trying to get ambient sound, or whatever the case is. That's the best direction for it. It also is not too conspicuous or in the way that it's going to get bent, buckled and broken, as they are fairly pricey. The only problem is obviously every now and again this fluffiness does get in the way of the Osmo, which is another reason why I use the Rode Wireless Go, as it's a little more discreet and it doesn't get in the way. And you can pick it up, walk around, and everything's good. So that's pretty much how I've been using it up to now. There are obviously various preferences that you can add, take away. There are other tripods. I sometimes use the little Manfrotto tripod, Manfrotto Pixie, because it's got this movable head that you can then adjust as well. Only thing with this one is it's obviously a little bit higher, a little bit more bulky than the PGYTech one. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe if you're not already, and hit the little bell icon so that YouTube can let you know when we put another one of these out. Also, the hardware that we've discussed in this video will be linked below. There are affiliate links, so it supports the channel with no extra cost to you, or alternatively you could just buy me a cup of coffee with the link below. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.